The Pittsburgh Steelers have a real competition for RB3, but I got to say that hearing what Eddie Faulkner has to say, there's one guy that holds the upper hand heading into training camp. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Today, we are talking about Anthony McFarland and how he remains the favorite for the Pittsburgh Steelers RB3 job. This is a year that Anthony McFarland could finally break onto the scene for the Steelers. And don't get me wrong, I don't think anybody who plays running back 3 for the Steelers really contributes enough to hold a significant impact on the offense. But I do believe that Anthony McFarland can make some plays for this team. And the reason that he holds his upper hand is because he could be utilized within an offense that already has 2 very talented running backs around it. I talked to Eddie Faulkner about Anthony McFarland and his opportunity. This is what he had to say.
At the same time, like, how big of an opportunity is this for Anthony to kind of get back in the mix after spending last year in the practice squad?
I think it's a huge. I mean, he has a skill set that's different than the rest of the group, which makes him unique. We really like what he's doing. We're trying to feature him into doing some stuff and seeing what that is that's on his list of plays that he can execute for us. And, again, that's just part of the team building process.
That unique skill set is what puts Anthony McFarland in somewhat of his own category. And honestly, it's really the reason that he's been around this entire time. Anthony McFarland isn't a dude who over-excelled in college, and he came into the NFL very raw, a lot to learn, but he has progressed. And every season, you've seen steps forward in his play. Last year during training camp, I thought was his opportunity before Jaylen Warren bursted onto the scene. I don't think Anthony McFarland is as good as Jaylen Warren, and I don't think that he is deserving to be in the conversation like Jaylen Warren is for that RB2 spot. And I think that rightfully so. He didn't make the roster last year, and the Steelers kept the 3 that I believe benefited them in the right direction. Najee Harris is their starter. Jaylen Warren was their backup and a guy that they wanted to see become the future behind Najee Harris. And then Benny Snell Jr. just played a role that is very hard to duplicate for a running back 3. He's very good on special teams. He knows how to pass protect. He can run the ball when needed. He's just a guy that is reliable. And as that third runner, you're just looking for reliability. This year, the Steelers hold a competition between Anthony McFarland, Jason Huntley, and 2 undrafted rookies in Darius Higgins and Alfonso Graham. And I believe that Alfonso Graham holds the upper hand. Again, talk to Eddie Faulkner about what he brings to the table. This is what he had to say.
Seen from the new guys, the undrafted guys.
They're still learning. You know what I mean? You see them learning. There's flashes, not consistent enough yet because they're not 100% on what they're doing. But as they get there, I think we get into the trove and get some of those team run settings and things that we do. They'll start to sort themselves out, and we see kind of what they're capable of doing.
At the same
Graham appears to be that next Jaylen Warren that the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking out for. He's a quick, shifty guy. He's got kick return and punt return capabilities. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. He is exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers love to see in a young guy, especially at a running back. But he's competing with somebody who has veteran experience, who has progressed each season, who is still young. Anthony McFarland isn't a true veteran. He's only 24 years old. He's played in the league for 3 years now, but one of those years he spent on the practice squad, and he hasn't really gotten a real opportunity since being drafted in the 4th round back in 2020. He holds almost the same skill set as Alfonso Graham, which is why I think the Steelers also enjoy Alfonso Graham and what they have seen out of him. And don't get me wrong, Alfonso Graham is an undrafted rookie. He's young. He's raw. There's a lot that you could mold with this guy, and fans are always going to add a little extra juice to an undrafted rookie. Those guys are just new to the scene. They're exciting. They're new toys that the Pittsburgh Steelers get to play with and that the fans get to watch. Obviously, they're going to bring a little bit more excitement than a guy who's been in the league for 3 years, who's entering his 4th season, and who spent last year on the practice squad. It's not a guy that I think fans really hold to a high level, but I do believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers have tried time and time again to get Anthony McFarland on the field. Remember last year, we made a big rave about this guy. Anthony McFarland was being utilized as a wide receiver. He was all over the field. The Steelers wanted to recognize his skill set and use it in the right direction. Unfortunately, he fell into a case of Jaylen Warren. The year before that, it was the same deal. He looked to be the guy. He was going to surpass Benny Snell Jr. and play a role in the Steelers offense. And he was the answer behind Najee Harris. And this was so exciting because he was finally bursting onto the scene. He looked faster than everybody. He looked twitchier than everybody. He looked just altogether ready to be a factor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then an untimely knee injury shut him down for a couple of weeks. And by the time he came back, he never really got going again. And at that point, the Steelers kept him inactive for almost the entire season, and he didn't get an opportunity. Here we are again, year 4. He'll have an opportunity to be that guy. The Steelers want him to be able to catch the football out of the backfield, to be used in the slot, to be used as a halfback, move him all over the field, somewhat of a chess piece like they are Connor Hayward and others. At this point, it's not a matter of, okay, well, Anthony McFarland has all this stuff and the Steelers want to use him and make him a part of the offense. At this point, it's can Anthony McFarland put it together enough to make this team and finally make that step forward, because this is his final shot. It's the last year of his rookie deal. The Steelers are going to give him an upper hand because they enjoy a veteran presence. He's been around. He's progressed every season. He's shown up when he's gotten the opportunity to show up, especially last year against Indianapolis. He hasn't disappointed when given the opportunity. He's disappointed as a whole. And I think that's why the Steelers are walking a line with this guy and saying, hey, look at it. You could make the team this summer, or it could be the end of the road for you in Pittsburgh. You'll probably hang out on the practice squad this year, and then next year, you'll just be gone. McFarland doesn't want that. The Steelers don't want that. Nobody's looking at this situation and saying Anthony McFarland should be gone and his career shouldn't work out in Pittsburgh. He's got a skill set. He's as fast as they come. He's got all the big play capabilities that the Pittsburgh Steelers are hoping to utilize. It's just a matter of, can he put it on the field this summer? And if he does, and if he shows up at Latrobe ready to go, I think he walks away as the RB3, and I think that he carries that upper hand with him. And I don't think he's had an opportunity as good as he's got one right now to actually contribute to the Steelers' offense.